game here. So this is going to be Shinobu, Best Naomi, in a Shinano. Now, Shinano, of course, is tier 10 premium carrier for the Japanese side of things. That's quite strong, and it's a steel ship. If you are a carrier fan, main, whatever, definitely worth picking up. She's got a lot of things going for her that are just weird. No better way to describe it, really.
Like AP skip bomber.
That's one of them. So she's got skip bombers that drop AP bombs, which have really good penetration. They can citadel pen battleships, cruisers, other carriers. Yeah, I know a lot of people hate those things. I mean, I don't blame you, frankly, Ice Rose. And then, of course, she's got tactical dive bombers as well. And these tactical dive bombers have a smoke curtain generator. And by the way, the skips have a repair heal, so that's kind of fun. And then she's got her normal torpedo bombers. All right. Apologies for 1 second here. And there you go, 23PO. Hey, Wowzocker. So she's got the ability to pop a smoke, and she can smoke herself and stuff like that. So definitely worth picking up if you like carriers. Okay. Hey, let's continue on with the replay part of it now. Let's look at the build for the Shinano here. We're starting out with Air Groups Modification 1, and then Aircraft Engines mod, and then secondaries just north of Brizzy. Is that the Gold Coast or Sunshine Coast? I always get those two mixed up. Skip Bomber HP, Flight Control Modification, and then the other Flight Control Modification for speed. Okay. Not a bad build. In this particular case for Shinano, you do have two squadrons, your skip bombers and your torpedo bombers, that you want to make sure you cycle through, right? So, Sunshine Coast, got it, okay. I've met people from there, I just haven't been there myself. It's on my list, though, it's on my list. So, squadron return speed is good. Spoken as a destroyer main guard, right? A lot of people like to do damage control party mod here, just so that when you are DCPing, your action time is greater, because one of the quirks about Shinano is that her action time is that of a battleship. It's 20-second action time. She also burns like a battleship too, which is like her main weakness. Because of course, historically, Shinano was a battleship. She was originally the third Yamato hull that got converted to a carrier. So a lot of people like to go with damage control party upgrade here because that gives it a few extra seconds of DCP action time. Although Air Groups Modification is also perfectly fine. 23PO, you absolutely can play a carrier and come after me. Aircraft, nothing to talk about there. The secondaries on Shinano are actually really strong. So I see this a lot in ranked. You see destroyers that think they can just go and approach the Shinano and not care, and then they get gunned down and dead. So absolutely secondaries. And you'll get destroyed like the rest. There you go. And then Skip Bomber HP is fine. It does get a heal. It does get a heal. As do the torpedo bombers. And skips rarely spend much time in anti-air. So I think you might be better suited going for Bomber Modification 2, or 1 even, because even though they're tactical bombers and you get them back, like we talked about in the last replay, getting your bombers to target and actually dropping their ordnance is really important. The extra hit points there might be the difference between another bomb or two dropping. Because it does have battleship burning though, Damage Control Mod 2 might actually be useful too. It really depends on how you find the ship and how you play it. Just ask your question, Ensalada, you're fine. So, and then in the fifth slot, I've seen players going with squadron consumables. Yes, go ahead.
So you said this one gets 2 heals for your torpors and for your AP skip bombers, and those are the ones you want to cycle because of that, because it's just like, it's the opposite of the Essex and Yorktown, but which ones get smoke then?
Only the tactical dive bombers get smoke.
Oh.
So, yep. So you only have the one squadron, which is why in slot 5, A lot of people like to do squadron consumables because it gets them one more smoke.
Right, but I can only smoke half as much in a Shinano than I could in an Essex or York because I only
You have
get
to be
one slot of smoke.
You have to be far more judicious of your use of that smoke. Yes.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Think of it as a hybrid between... It's kind of a hybrid between the Soviet carriers because of the skip bombs, American support carriers because of the smoke capability, and your standard Japanese carrier. So anyway, he did go for flight control mod so he can cycle through those the torpedo bombers and skips quicker, so that's perfectly fine. For Captain, he's using Suzuki. I talked about this so much before. Ito was also released in the event pass last patch, or the first half of this current patch. And he's got a buff survivability expert as well. So Suzuki's are good. If you picked up the event pass, you've got Ito. He's good for a carrier because of the buff survivability expert. If you don't, Suzuki's fine. One is coal, one is doubloons. And they're all worth picking up. Another giveaway in chat, guys. Another CC container going out to town. So again, be a follower on twitch.tv/Lord_Zath and type something in chat. If you're watching on YouTube, Rumble Kick, get over to twitch.tv/LordZath. You got 10 minutes to enter. Okay? So skills here. Core build, again, aircraft air supremacy, improved engines, aircraft armor, survivability expert. From there, he's gone for improved engine boost and last gasp, as well as repair specialist to get that extra consumable of heal for both skips and torpedo bombers. So he gets extra use of, out of that. And then he's gone proximity fuse and then bomber flight control. Now, bomber flight control is doubly important for Shinano because this helps both the skip bombers and the tactical bombers. So that's very handy. 600 seconds, correct. So that should be 10 minutes. Or am I doing my math wrong? Yeah, anyway. So I would definitely go for a build like this. You could make the argument for dropping repair specialist and going torpedo bomber, even though you get the extra heal because skip bombers, most of the times skip bombers are going to be dropping outside of anti-air, so you're probably not going to be punished to the point where you're going to need that extra heal on your skip bombers. So it might be worth considering torpedo bomber in that case. But beyond that, everything else is looking good. Dad Poppy from Australia got this first CC container. Congratulations. Hey, Gina. Make sure you let us know what you got. And then for signals, we've got ship HP, fire extinguishing tank, because again, battleship burning, both flood chance, heal, speed, secondaries, and consumables. Absolutely what you'd want to go for this ship. I don't know there's an easy way to get anti-air in, so that's fine. Okay, let's go and take a look at the battle then. I did not take my initial picture yet because it started from top down. By the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but on carriers, the antennas actually fold. That was added in the game like 4 or 5 years ago. So cool. Headed to bed. Good night from Deutschland. Yes, good night, Blue Falcon. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for all your support. And looking forward to seeing you next time. Hopefully you can tune in sometime for a Manor Lords night, because loving the hell out of that game. Absolutely loving the hell out of that game. Right, let's get a fun shot looking down the... You're going A? There we go. Yes, actually, Chew3PO, it's level 7, but yes, if we get to a level 7 hype train, then we will celebrate by eating out extra codes. I'll go get some special dirty water and all that kind of stuff, and I negotiate with the wife to extend the stream. And if we've already done that once, if we do it a second time, I'm just gonna kind of tell her it's gonna happen. Lost track of my chats, no worries. Okay, so you're starting with the... Okay, he's starting with tactical. They're fast? Look how fast they are. You cleaned my dirty water? And he's going... This is, This is okay. So this is arms race, and a tier 10 game. 1 sub each side. So he's looking to do some early scouting. He spots something, so he drops his plane. Now, you can't strike the Stalingrad, Colombo, Montana group. I realize a lot of people say anti-air is meaningless, and by yourself, yes.
As someone who never gets any planes through, I can say that it is not meaningless.
If you're striking something with multiple anti-air bubbles, it becomes more and more difficult to actually get through. Like, here's an example of that. Look at how many planes he's losing to drop on those two. Now, if he had the dive bomber HP, he might have lost 1 less plane that way. Maybe. Skip bomber time. Now, when you're playing the Shinano, your skip bombers are interesting because of their AP skips. They have penetration that's different at different levels. If you strike at the farthest distance, that's for penetrating light cruisers and heavy cruisers on their side. If you're going for battleships, you will typically... Where'd your line go? He's moving around. You're typically going to want to go for your second line, or maybe the first, depending on the situation. Now he's looking for an opportunity on this Colombo, which is why he's kind of going off towards the side. Ensalada, by the way, do you use mods in the game? Zhao completely blocked him from getting a strike off, so now he's gonna go and he's gonna hit this. He's gonna hit the Zhao. Watch where he drops. It's gonna be right at that third line, right there. Boom.
Sorry,
look at that, 2 citadels.
I
no worries.
do not use mods.
Okay.
I don't know where to go to get them.
All right. Next drop, he's gonna circle back around. He did get the heal off, so he can heal up his planes to keep him alive, and he's gonna hit him with a second drop. And I'm guessing he's going to recall now. 2 more citadels in the Zhao. And see how he's not really taking much anti-air damage. Coming in for 1 final strike. This is why he likes to go with last gasp, because that was his last squadron strike, so he can go in and drop 1 more time. No citadel that time, but he's done a lot of damage to the Zhao. It's citadel or penetration damage. Much more difficult for the Zhao to recover than via heal than a fire or a flood. That's the power of Shinano, really.
You can get citadels with torpors?
No, but what I'm saying is, when you're talking about or you're talking about torpedoes, you're talking about doing raw damage, but also flood damage, right? And flood damage is 100% repairable. So that's the key, is the torpedoes themselves, the raw damage they do, is less repairable than, you know, whatever rockets or something. And then also, the skip bombers damage is less repairable. So that's the big thing about the Shinano, is they hit hard. Only Smet, thank you for the raid. Welcome on in, everybody. You know what that means, guys. We're gonna have to do another code yeet out here. Malaka, how you doing? So, I don't know if you saw it. I'm gonna put in chat mods, exclamation point mods, and that'll take you to a Google Doc, I believe, where I have screenshots of all the mods that I use, as well as where you can go and get it. Oh, you like code yeets? Yes, yes. All right, let's yeet out a code. And guys, if you don't know Smed, go toss a follow over to Only Smed as well. He's a good guy, very well worth checking out. You're welcome, Ensalada. And rip the Bilal that just died. Oh well. Plane to spot so he can go in and strike. He's going to try to strike the Zhao again. Is the Zhao paying attention? The Zhao is turning out to go broadside. Now he's turning. Still got a citadel off of that. Heal up because he wants to get another drop. You're most welcome, Smed. Smed was working with me to do a charity drive last year around this time. That was the speed run. Him, Sea Raptor, and what's his name? Admiral Revan. You were told as your lane mods that the only one you know of, and you're not very good with mods, only ones you use are Steam Page, Total War, or Among Us. Okay. That's right, I suppose. You need to say something in chat. If you're watching on YouTube, Rumble, or Kick, get over to twitch.tv/Lord_Zath. Toss a follow. It's that little heart button there. Okay? Following is free on Twitch. And type something in chat so we can get some goodies out to you guys, huh? 2-3PO? Awesome. And this is a CC container. I mean, who doesn't want another CC container? We've been giving away a ton of them today. Now, this is the hammer and anvil approach to dropping on a destroyer. You drop from the rear to keep him going straight, and then you drop from his side. In this case, he took one up the butt as well. And he got detected, so he's going to move forward, and he's going to immediately smoke himself. Oh, Dev Strike on the Trump. He was probably too busy trying to line up his Dutch oven.
That was a great battle.
So now his carrier is less detected. See the plane here? To spot the sub, if the spot comes back up to try to find the carrier, it'll be detected if it goes up to periscope depth. This poor Zhao, he's been working down the Zhao this entire time. Rodenberg won a CC container. Congratulations, Rodenberg. He finally got the kill. Now, he's probably going to keep dropping a plane over where the sub was because he needs that sub dead. And if he's got the ship consumable mod, he might also be asking... Yes, you see that in chat right now. He's saying Zhao sub surveillance. He's asking the Zhao to use sub surveillance, and the Zhao actually listens and uses it, which is awesome. Unfortunately, the sub is not being picked up. Alibi 3000. Hello, how you doing? We still have one more code giveaway in progress right now, so you still have about 5 or 6 minutes to enter the giveaway. This is a battleship, so you want the second line. Look at that, 2 citadels on a Montana. Same thing as he turns away, heal up, cycle in the next skip drop. Cobra wants to win. Cobra, you win every day. Every time you support the Ho train, you win. We are all winners. That's right. That's right. Ooh, bungo. I bet you're going for the bungo next.
That's how it's done.
As like any other carrier, you want to focus on... It's all about the train. You want to focus on targets that are isolated. Now, by doing this strike, you may screw up the Gearing's torpedo drop as well, though. Keep that in mind. Yeah, go to bed, no problem. No problem. Work time in the morning? Of course. Papa Fabian, you never feel like you are obligated to hang out in the stream or anything like that, okay? I'll try to double check my itinerary, and if I'm going to Zadar, I'll reach out to you, okay? Thank you again for the raid, my friend. Yeah, will do. Yeah, codes part 2 of Empehor. So we got 2 sets of codes for this patch cycle because it's such a long patch, and I really appreciate Wargaming doing that for us. Part 2 has a more limited number of activations. So only 1 CC code, for example. Third line because there's only a little bit of HP left on the bungo, and he wants to kill it, and then he can go and drop on the Colombo next. Although the Colombo is kind of in a bad spot for the drop here. If the Colombo hit the dead ship, it's gonna hold him right there. No citadels, that's okay. I know, who doesn't like 2 chances to win, exactly. Super Snakebite, how you doing? Now, Enchilada, you were talking about carrier positioning. You can see in this game, in this particular game, Shin really hasn't moved from the center much. And that's because with this map, you know, these islands are really the only kind of cover he can have.
Yeah, I usually go in the very back, like that second to back island, because it's long enough where I can be long ways and hide.
Yep.
These are really up front. I never am this aggressive with my CV, because I've seen too many CVs do autopilot and get picked off.
Yep.
So.
Yep. But you can see how he's using the smoke to enable him to be that aggressive and to get in the cap. And of course, with his secondaries, they reached 9.2 kilometer. So, I mean, you know, pretty darn good secondaries for a
I would
carrier.
argue he's a far superior CV player than I am. Like, he's hitting hard and fast, where, again, maybe it was my build. Maybe I was just super slow. So, I mean...
Yeah, I think part of it is your build. Absolutely. That's okay. That's why you sent it in.
Way more effective team player, you know? Like, the way he's doing it, you know, much better.
And that's the interesting thing, because you said in your replay, see the plane drop right there on top of it. In your replay, you're talking a lot about, you know, trying to support and all that. And you can see in this case, he's doing the support, but he's also getting the damage in too. Right.
Yeah.
See his planes latched? They got one of the enemy carrier's planes. And that attack on the Stalingrad, by the way, with the torpedo bombers, was to bait out the defensive anti-air fire. He attacked straight out with the torpedo bombers because he didn't care. He wanted to bait out. Any word is fine, RWW. Just make sure you're following the channel if you're not already. You have to be a follower to win, okay? So he attacked straight on to bait out the defensive anti-air, because then he knew he can come back and he could just drop with impunity. And for Stalingrad, he's vulnerable to either torpedoes or skip bombers, right? Follow is winning. That's right, Beefall.
I mean, I never get citadels, but he has heavy bombers and skip bombers, so it's like just seeing him get a citadel, I was like, whoa, I didn't know I could do that.
You can do it with the skips, yes. It depends on the line. Now, he just took some damage, so he's looking around. Who just hit me? And it's got to be the Imamon, right? The Shimakaze, maybe the Shimakaze with his guns.
Yeah, like,
But
he's
Shin's-
got a Kraken. I've been close to a Kraken over a dozen times, but I never get it. I get like 4 kills and I'm dominating, and like, I just don't get it, because my damage is not hard enough. So.
Yep. And, you know, of course, if you had Yamamoto, that's hilarity in itself. But I want to point out, he went for that strike on the Shimakaze, and the Shimakaze was able to outturn him, so he just said screw it, and dropped on the carrier instead. That's another skill a lot of carriers struggle with. Me too, frankly. I will typically just drop. And that's it.
I mean, I'll pull a UE and circle if I know someone has a shot and I see them shooting. So it just depends. But he's got, those bombers are like Hornet bombers. Like, they're the ones that go up and down. So
Yep.
I don't know what they're called, but
Yep. And also, when he went for the carrier, he most likely pulled the cap away so that he could go. But he even saw he pre-dropped there, figuring he's going to go and attack the the carrier. But then the carrier died, so he didn't need to do that. But I gotta say, this is a masterclass in how you carrier. And look at the XP earnings. He's got to be using reds. 3 million credits. 55,000 free XP, or regular XP. And look, you just won a CC code. Wow. Munchers? Jesus. Look at this. And of course, he got an efficiency.
I love
bit.
it.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and you want all of it, right? Seriously, we are here for all of this. I mean, look at that.
I want what he's having. Like, oh my god, it's glorious.
This is like that old song, "If I Could Be Like That,"
dear
right?
Lord.
If I could be like that, I would give anything. Never seen a CC container in 3 years. Dude, keep checking out my channel, and also Malaka. I'll tell you what. Go check out the rerun channel as well. We give away codes there twice a day. Twice a day. Really good chances of winning because typically it's like 5 to 10 people who enter. They got a really good chance of winning. Just putting that out there for anybody who's looking for World of Warships loot. Dude, get them on the rerun channel. It says code already redeemed. I'll look into it.
Yeah.
When the bot goes through multiples, it likes to give the same code out multiple times. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's all
check
good,
it during
man.
the break in between.
Yeah, take your time.
Let's take a look at the. I mean, look at this. 241,000 damage just from torpedoes and skip bombers alone. Sit in my belly. Ooh, I like that title. I like that title. And yes, you can also get code drops over on or the regular drop. Sit in my belly. Excellent. But I mean, this is
Wait,
a masterclass in CV play. What do you guys saw here? Really?
and he was number 1 on team score?
Mm-hmm. By a large margin.
I've only been there less. I can count on one hand how many times I've been there. 4 times. I'm usually
Well-
second, third, or 90% in the middle. Or so
Rem-
it's just
Remember that your XP gains for a carrier are primarily going to be damage based. The other ways that you can gain XP is by shooting down enemy aircraft. And spotting does do some damage or some XP, but not much. Just as potential damage. Some, but not much. You're probably not going to cap, for example, in a carrier, right? You maybe get some decaps.
right.
But yeah, it's really tough to get a high level of base XP unless you can do a lot of damage. That was just an average game. LOL in my dreams. Right, Hoghammer? Seriously. Seriously. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to watch the replay render and enjoy it again. Sit in my belly is a great title. I like that idea.
I mostly get spawning damage. That's what is my jam. I don't
Yeah.
mind. I just care that we win and
Mhm.
I save as many people as I can. But so what you're saying is for Shinano is a damage dealer than more
God,
of a
yes.
team player because like you only have 3 smokes. Like I can't really save a lot of people with that. I'm halved in terms of my support comp.
Correct.
So
Correct. And if you're playing it more aggressively, like we saw Shino, it's mostly going to be used for himself. Right?
right.
Now he does have the flexibility to change to, to pivot to more of a support role if he needs to using that smoke. And that's why when I run it personally, instead of the flight control module in slot 5, I run the one that gives me extra charge of consumables because that one extra smoke is huge if you only have 3. But, I really like how he punished that Zhao for even existing because he was going to go for that strike on the Columbo and then the Zhao appeared. And he's like, you bleepity bleep beep. I'm just going to kill you now. And then we just slowly but surely watched the Zhao just die. Who was the criminal driving the Shinano? Some flyby killer. That was Shinorin. I don't remember his exact name. Best Nuomi is his name in game. Shinorin.
So is Shinano primary source of sustenance is BBs or cruisers then?
Yes.
Okay, not DDs then. So I'm
No.
not a DD hunter in a Shinano because
No.
I'm primarily a DD hunter right now as an Essex York. It seems like a slightly different playstyle, but obviously a lot more delicious. Let's look at that.
You can hunt
So-
destroyers in tactical bombers, and you can also hunt them with torpedo bombers if you know how to use them. You've got experience in them. You could probably get away with it. Most other people won't.
I would say 9 times out of 10 on my team for first blood, it's usually me torping to death a DD and
Yeah.
forcing them to beach. So
Right. So, I mean, you can absolutely
Wait, don't
do
use
that.
corpse for DDs? I've been trying to bomb them this entire time.
You can use both. You can use
Heavy bombers
bombers. If it's HE, if it's an AP bomber, it's not
No.
so effective. But if it's an HE bomb, that's what you want primarily on a destroyer. And then torpedoes are nice because if you saw when Shin dropped on that destroyer, he dropped from the rear on purpose to keep the destroyer going straight. And then he came in from the side and finished him off from the side. It certainly helped that the Trump took a torpedo up the rear as well by accident while he was trying to stay straight. But that's another thing that can happen is you can take advantage of players that really kind of screw up with their dodge, or they think they got it and then they dodge into the torpedo. So it works really well. And that's another case, going back to your game, Enchilada, where having slower torpedoes actually helps, right? Because that's more time. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's hard to use rocket planes on a destroyer.
I don't like
Nope.
that. I'll
Really,
use
I
it on a cruiser.
AP rockets.
I use them for cruisers and BBs. They're bigger. There's more area to hit. So with DDs, it's so hard. Like it's you got to get lucky or time it right.
Yep. If they full pen a destroyer, they'll do a lot of damage, but most of the time the destroyer is turned or whatever, and you'll just bounce off of them. All right, this game was so awesome. I'm letting it run a second time, and then we'll move on. You have all witnessed greatness.
So based on his gameplay, it seems like it's more effective to pin a DD from behind versus the front. And I've been doing the front. So yeah, I took that away for sure. I'm going to do that instead.
Well, if you're doing it from the front,
they're gonna outrun them because obviously it's opposite directions. Whereas behind, they're gonna have to stay in the pin position a lot longer.
Bingo. And that, by the way, is not just destroyers. That works for battleships and for cruisers too.
Yeah, I just use them most for DDs because they're so slippery.
Oh, of course. So yeah, I mean, this was a great example of how you see V.
I am envious. So,
well, and frankly, he's one of the reasons why people say CVs are busted, because you run up against a player like him that just wipes the floor with you. But for every one of him, there's probably
100 of us who are not like him.
Yeah, so I was trying to say there's probably 500 that are average skill level, and then there's
there's me,
1,000
player in the world
that are really struggling to play carrier. And because wargaming balances around random battles, well, okay, here's one person doing all this, and all these other people that are doing not all this, averaged out.
So between me and him, because you saw my video first and then his, what is the gap between me and him, and how much do you say I have to go before I can come close to where he's at in terms of XP?
You don't have too much more to go. I mean, the fact that you didn't know you could use your mouse cursor to fine tune, it's an important lesson for you to learn. And I think now that you're understanding builds and all that, I think that helps too. And, so let me put it this way. You've got spotting and the support concept down, but now you're focusing on damage, whereas most players, it's the opposite. They focus on damage, and then once they figure that out, they kind of start finding ways to support the team,
Well, it's before York and Essex, my CB was percentage of win rate was probably in the 30s or 40s. Now with me playing mostly Essex and York, and I think a little bit audacious, my win percentage with those three ships is 58 or 62%.
Yeah. So
massive increase for me because I focus on these ones and I understand them really, really well. But I know for sure I'm definitely below average, and I'm not a very good CB player. And so regardless of the compliments and reports, I understand that I'm a small fish. So
the difference is, if you didn't have the smoke screen, you'd be a lot less effective, right? Because I kind of hinted with your game too. Your planes weren't as effective as they could be, right? When you put the fighters down and stuff. You can see Shin putting planes down to spot. Remember, for you, that doesn't count because, the Yorktown and Essex, they only spot out to 2 kilometers from the center, and that's it.
Really, really short. I have to be right on them, and a lot of times it's easy to miss. So I pop them ahead of it where I think they're going.
DDs anyway?
Is it normal for destroyers anyway? No. Normal spotting means that the plane will spot whatever is within range that's got the thing. Think of assured detection. So assured detection, if you're within 2 kilometers of another ship, you automatically spot each other. And that's essentially what's happening with these planes. They have to be within that 2 kilometer for the assured detection. Hey, Cthulhu. That's true, Vaco. But that's what wargaming does, and whether you like it or not, this is how you end up with ships that are like this, that are, you know, very strong in the right hands, but, you know, most people struggle with. It's a game. It's a tough ship to learn to play, by the way. This isn't a carrier you can just pick up an easy mode win, okay? There's a lot of nuances, and I tried to call those out, like when he was skip bombering, and I said he's going to the second line, he's going to the third line, right? Like, you have to know that kind of stuff in order to really make this work. Most of his attacks were lined up perfectly when he turned in. He wasn't trying to hope that something would dodge him. He knew he could get him, right? And that's shows a skill level that's far beyond most players in this game. Plain and simple.
I mean, most CVs I run into on the enemy team, they autopilot, they get spotted because they're too close to the front line, they get picked off halfway through the match. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
I don't fight a lot of CV players that give me a run for my money. In general, you know,
Yeah.
there's players who I've played with before, some CCs, like if I'm on their team, they're so excited in chat. If they're not on my team, they're like, hey, can you just kill me first, but kill my whole
Mhm.
div so we can just get out of here because
Right.
you're not going to let us cap anything. I'm like, okay,
Right.
fine. You know, so.
There you go. Shinano feels interesting, but you don't want to go there till the CV change has been implemented and you have a feel for how they affect you. Cthulhu, I will say you're missing out. Straight up, you're missing out. Don't wait for CV changes. Pick it up now. Like,
I
serious,
will
just
get
pick it up now.
now as soon as possible. I'm like 4K steel away from it, right? I want to get
Yeah.
it as soon as I can because I do want to try it out.
Yeah.
But because of the lack of smokes, I'm a little concerned. It's going to have to change my playstyle,
Right.
which I'm fine with. I'm fine with adapting. It's part of the game.
Mhm.
So I'm going to have to. So again, I want to get as quickly as I can. I have 2 commanders who have like crazy CV boosts. Whereas
Here's a
my.
question, though. Is steel just for ships, or can you use it for other things?
You can use it for other things. I just use it for ships.
Most people, it's just ships. There's some camos you can use it for. You can convert it to coal to buy something. Don't do that. So, but you know, I think for you, Ensalada, this particular ship is going to help you focus on damage and learn to focus on damage, which is a good thing, in my opinion, for your growth. And
I
from
just feel
that,
like focusing damage makes me a selfish player. That's how I've always viewed it, but I could be wrong, you know. I mean,
but
it's
look at
different shit,
here,
right?
he was a very selfish player focusing on damage, but what did he do because of that? You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's where it comes into play. You kind of, you know, learn to do that, and then what you can do is you can take what you've learned there to apply it to your Essex gameplay, to your Yorktown gameplay, and I think it's going to overall make you a better player. And the nice thing is when you start focusing on damage and stuff like that with this carrier, well, now that opens up all the other carriers out there too that maybe you're not so good at.
Maybe,
You
yeah.
played
'Cause, I
Thundering
mean,
Clan battles, okay?
I've seen a lot of CV players, and like other CZ have told me, whether it's from Zelda or like Fairback or whoever, like
Mhm.
when I'm in their match, I'm supporting the team, and then I see other CV, and they're just bullying like a single BB way out by themselves. They do nothing else for the enemy team.
Right.
The whole match, they're just doing damage to one lone ship who doesn't know how to play, and it's
Mhm.
like that's so selfish. So like, I never want to be that player, but again,
Well-
the Shinano's a different type of ship, so
The other way you look at it is you pick off the players that don't. You pick off the players that can't deal with you, can't handle you because you're by yourself or they're by themselves. You pick them off first, even though, you know, yeah, you're selfish, blah, blah, blah. You pick them off because that's what you can strike. And then you move on to the ones that are smart enough to ball up, because trying to strike a murder ball is really hard to do, as you know.
it's not
So
worth it.
it's not. So if
I
everybody
wouldn't.
does that except for 1 or 2 ships, what are you going to do? Just fly around that murder ball and do nothing the whole time, or waste your planes?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, again, that's the struggle with what you're facing with. All right. Shin, thank you for sending in the replay. I think this was a really good replay to showcase strong points for planes and that sort of thing. And appreciate you, man.